Every so often, there'll be this massively popular game from seemingly out of nowhere, made by someone that no one has heard of, such as Among Us. Wait, the person that made Among Us also made the Henry Stickmin games? Okay, rewind. Made by someone that no one has heard of, such as Undertale. The most recent of these out-of-nowhere games being Lethal Company, developed and published on Steam by a single person, Zekas. A co-op horror game where you and 3 friends have to go to different moons to collect scrap that you can sell to the company. Oh, and by the way, did I mention there were monsters? Wait, monsters? It's a very simple game with a very repetitive gameplay loop and no ending, so it is just go until you fail. The game has 8 moons, 2 design interiors and 18 enemies, but if there's so little content and the gameplay is exactly the same every time you play, then why do people keep playing it? Because it's silly, because it's scary, because it's funny watching your friends getting chased by a horrifying monster. Because of the proximity chat, because knowing about the inevitability of failure ensures that you test your luck trying to get that last bit of scrap for the quota, only for it to have a catastrophic ending and your whole team ending up dead. Let's go into some of the more important features which make this game stand out a bit more in depth. Proximity chat. This is something that a lot of co-op horror games need to and have been implementing into their games, because it's absolutely amazing. Not only for those amazing times when you hear but for the immersion that it gives you as well. You are so used to playing games constantly hearing your friends on Discord. So when you enter the strange, scary building with unknown threats, split up to cover more ground to find scrap, and slowly hear their voices fade out to silence. Hello? It becomes a whole lot scarier. Because your brain knows that there's safety in numbers. Your friends being there relieve the tension of scary situations, but your friends have just walked off in a different direction. They can't hear you, and you can't hear them. So if something were to happen, then they can't help you. They wouldn't even know. Procedural generation. Each of the interiors are randomly generated each time you land, so combining that with the random enemy selection each map ensures that you have a completely different experience every time you play. There might be a gas leak in a certain area, which completely shrouds your vision should you decide to venture inside it. The lights might be off, so it's your job to find the breaker box to turn them back on. It could be a small set of rooms with 10 monsters, or it could be a complete multi-level maze with none, which in my experience is slightly scarier, because if you've seen the monsters then you know what you're up against, but if you haven't seen anything and you don't know where you are, you also don't know what's out there, where it is or when it will strike. The planets on the outside don't change, but that's fine, they don't need to. Because you have monsters and other things that spawn out there anyway that could kill you way before you even get to the front door. So even if you have that certain level of familiarity with each of the moon's surfaces, you are never 100% sure that you're safe. Constant levels of unsafeness. In some games like Phasmophobia, you know that the moment you step out the house, then you are 100% safe, and the ghost can't get to you. Lethal Company looked at that idea, took the world's sloppiest dump on it and said, hey, how about we not only let some of the monsters spawn outside, but some of them can even get inside the ship that you leave in for extra funny haha points. So even if you make it out the facility, you are still far from safe until you've actually left the moon. Store. Now when I say store, I mean the in-game one. Although that is a good point, this game has no microtransactions. Not for skins, not for moon, not for any extra content. Not even the soundtrack is available to buy on Steam. Which has always confused me. Why game companies put the soundtrack on Steam to be bought. They know YouTube and Spotify exist, right? But giving the player the ability to buy different items to help them out on their adventures. Of course, you've got the boring options like the flashlight and the shovel so you can see and defend yourself. Ew. But why buy those when you can buy the inverse teleporter so you and your friends can teleport into random spots in the facility instantly? Or you can buy the ladder so you can do this. Or you could buy this spray paint. I mean, yeah, it probably has an actual use. Maybe for crossing off doorways if there's no loot. Or by painting directions around the facility back to the exit. Or you could just do this. You, come on, did you actually think I was going to draw a dick? I did, it's over there. Mods. Now, there's obviously going to be a point where the repetitiveness of Lethal Company will start to bore everyone and they'll just leave to play something else. But that's where modding comes in. Because the game has been so popular, there have been a staggering amount of mods to keep the gameplay feeling fresh, new, and horrifying. What are some of the mods that you can get, you ask? Well, how about this one that copies your friends' voices and then plays them back to you in order to lure you to the nearest face-munching monster? Or one that spawns a trap fire exit that will instantly eat you if you decide to go through it. Or ones that let you go to custom moons, such as Peach's Castle from Super Mario 64. Ones that make mimic copies of you and your friends to try and turn them into copies as well. This one, if you know you're interested in this. So, absolute bottom line, for 8 right British pounds or $10 dues, this game is absolutely worth it and so much fun to play with friends. It may be a tad harder progression wise to do solo, but it's still fun and you will still have a great time.